We just having an earthquake.
Whoa.
A strong earthquake has hit the impoverished country of Haiti, destroying a hospital and trapping people inside. Screams could be heard coming from the building. The U.S. Geological Survey says the quake had a preliminary magnitude of 7.0 and was centered about 10 miles west of the capital. No details yet on casualties or other damage.
We are just now beginning to learn the extent of the devastation. But the reports and images that we've seen of collapsed hospitals, crumbled homes, and men and women carrying their injured neighbors through the streets are truly heart-wrenching.
I was in line at the gas station. There were several cars in front of me when all of a sudden buildings started to fall. People were running out into the streets. Many of the people were hurt very badly. Many were screaming, "Jesus, Jesus, Jesus." A lot of the electrical lines fell to the ground. With so many people in the streets, unfortunately, many people died because they were electrocuted before we could get the power turned off.
We were sitting at home in Florida and saw evening news came up about the earthquake in Port-au-Prince, Haiti. I sat there for a few minutes and got up and walked into the office and wrote an email out to Vivek saying, perhaps we ought to do something about this and I'd be willing to come to Haiti. I got a response back real soon. The next day, we were here on the third day after the earthquake. Somebody out of the office said one of the first things we should do is check in with the hospital. And they had 4 or 5 generators in there that were not operational. And so Bud Stanley and Christian Ponce and I spent the next 3 days working on the generators, and we got them back online with the help from the Partners in Health.
In the sea of these dead bodies, we encountered Mike Mannon and his team trying to work on the generator. There was a really great synergy between Mike's team and myself, really trying to just get power back to this facility and get medical teams the ability to practice medicine. I couldn't even have dreamt of something as catastrophic as this. You have a situation where you can try to tend to people's wounds with limited tools at your disposal, and then come 6:30, you're done. It was barbaric. It was awful. And so Mike and the work that his team did changed completely what we were able to do as first responders, what we were able to do as medical professionals in terms of caring for these people 24 hours a day.
I'm just a simple country boy, and I've never been out of the United States, never even been close to being out of the United States. And I knew that if anybody needed help, it would be the Haitians. It's been overwhelming at times, but I'm glad to be here and glad to be helping.
The reason I wanted to come to Haiti was to help these people rebuild their country, to improve their linemen, to make a difference in somebody else's life.
I've teared up many times just seeing the devastation of how they have to live. I want to help any kind of way I can. It's just the amazing strength that these people have to have to live like this and how they cope with it daily.
It just gives you a sick feeling inside how bad these people have been hurt. They're in such need. And it's a good feeling when you go out and you help somebody and they're very appreciative of what you're doing and helping. I'll go back home and have a total different outlook on life.
Since 5 years ago, we have lost a lot of guys who were working on the lines.
While we were working, we have noticed that we were not really properly fitted for the work. Like we have the Haitian workers working without safety shoes or even a hard hat. And sometimes even their gloves, they were not really in good condition. So we come to find out that we had to change our way of working so we can save lives.
Our efficiency in the States is something we're trying to bring to these people. We didn't come here without purpose. Yesterday was probably the most compelling reason that I've seen so far. We had the guy here that lost both arms. That was his second accident.
I was electrocuted 2 times because we didn't have the necessary tools or the proper training to work on the lines. Now, I can't work.
We learned about a lineman who had gotten in an accident, and that really reinforced the fact that we really had to instruct these guys and really understand that they understood how to use the grounds and how important it was to use them.
I think that Dieudonné is the perfect example of what can happen here and can happen again if nobody come here and explain to them what they have to do. Just to see what they are doing now, the training that they are receiving from the U.S. linemen, and to also see what the U.S. linemen, because they came with a lot of equipment, to see what they have. I think this will help a lot, so no other accidents like Dieudonné will happen again, because when you see him, you're just like, okay, that's why I'm here. It's incredible to see the linemen, how they react about the training. For them, it's like probably most of them didn't ever receive a training before. These guys were like, it is a miracle that these guys are there, so that expresses how happy they are. And for these linemen, the U.S. linemen coming here and teaching them things, it's just incredible.
Yeah, they are doing a good, really good job. So I love to work with them, you know. Right now, the 2 Bill are my friend, you know. We're working together. It's a pleasure for me to work with them.
The older gentlemen, they seem to take kind of control and help us. Once we go through it and show them what we want, they kind of take over and help us train them. They don't sit there and try to tell us how to do it or say they know what's going on. They're genuinely trying to learn this stuff. They're tickled to death. They're proud of EDH. It's basically been their life, and those guys are glad to do something like this to improve the place for the younger guys.
As we taught them, we were really surprised to see how willing they were to learn and how interested they were and the questions they asked. And some of them were even taking notes.
I've been assigned to train them to learn how to climb, and when we first talked with them, they've never had a set of hooks on in their life, and I have been just totally struck by how quickly they picked up on it, and it's incredible. These gentlemen have a drive to learn and better themselves, and I've seen them work off of ladders a couple times out in the field. They'll have to maneuver that ladder. They'll have to come down and reposition that ladder several times to get one job done. With climbing, you don't have to do that. You're able to go ahead and get your job done a lot more quickly, and you're not swinging that ladder around up around the conductors and whatnot. If you make a game out of learning, it's fun and people pay attention more.
These guys have no fear to them whatsoever. Back in the States, some of the guys would not advance as quickly as these guys.
What we've been going over the last few days of this week has been operating their digger truck, familiarization with the operations of it, basically going over teaching them how to dig holes with the equipment rather than dig the holes manually with a shovel, and maybe make their job a little easier and show them some of the ways that we do things back in the States. They're really excited, I think, about having this and how it's going to benefit them in doing their day-to-day job.
The guys have slowly but surely learned how to feather the controls. We basically help them improve their skills on their pole setting so that they can become smoother operators. There's a little boy that come up to the fence where we're working in. His name is Ansel. He's 14 years old. He lost his mother right after the earthquake, and as soon as we got to the fence, he told us he would pray to his God for us, which was really touching. After you get to know these people, you realize they're no different than you. They're very proud of what they have, and they're very good people.
I think when we leave them, they're going to have some knowledge that are going to help them a lot, and it's just going to be an experience that I was glad I was involved in, because they can use some stuff, and it'd be nice for them to start doing stuff safely.
I know that after these 3 weeks, it's not a lot, but it will be better than what they had before, and I know that can save lives.
And I saw the part of the training that's taking place. I mean, that not only is going to help the people of Haiti in terms of improving, electrification, but also, helping these guys be safer, be more skilled at what they're able to do. The resources in Haiti are so scarce. From my experience here, they're hungry to learn. And this type of training, so it's a limited intervention, but an intervention to prop up people to be able to do this on their own. I think that's the model that's been successful. That's the model that I see NRECA following, and that's the model I think that's going to work.
I love that they have the confidence in themselves to teach their people.
All right. Haiti has a long ways to go. Right now, they're less than 20% electrified, so there's a big need. Most of that is in the rural areas, so there's going to be a large investment need over the next 10-year range for both in generation, distribution, and just electrification in general. We hope that NRECA can be part of that in their future. A lot of times at the end of the day, when you finally see the results of what you're doing, it feels good.
They'll be on my mind probably for the rest of my life, and I wonder how they're doing. And what's really rewarding is the 6 linemen that we have helped train. They'll pass on to 6 more linemen who will pass on to 6 more, and to know that if they stick with it, that I could have helped a whole culture change the way they work. To know that a little fella from Scottsville, Virginia did that is just awesome.